happen based on those acts. That's where the police officer can act or look at the act whether somebody violated those acts. Like the Gilma Act, when only depend on the police to look at charge people as per the act, because we are charging people as per the Environment Act. We are charging people as per even drug act, even though the drug squad have the standing to go to court. So any act that is from the National Assembly is law once you violate, and if the police can prosecute and then can charge, investigate, charge based on those acts, they can. I'm sorry that the officers at Basu Sarangai may say so, but I don't think that was the right thing to do. But from
you can keep the mic. I'm saying you are in the know, you know all these things. But whether the people on the ground, the officers on the ground, are actually au fait with these acts, these various acts, and with the understanding that these are, as you know, just like the Constitution, there are laws that need to be implemented. The enforcement must be done by the police. It is not the Gelma or the ordinary people that can enforce that. It's the police that should do the enforcement. Are the police on the ground in the know that is their responsibility?
Yeah, they should be, because when acts are promulgated, what we normally do, those acts will be sent. Any act that is sent to the police headquarters, and those acts also are normally sent to the various regional command. It's left to regional command to make sure they disseminate or inform their people properly. Maybe there is a breakdown of communication. Officers are not doing what they are supposed to do by talking to the individual, telling them what they ought to know. So those things are in the system, but because of this loophole, we will try to rectify to make sure such things do not happen again. But acts are acts, and then when you violate those acts, either they like the first three act, the first three will act, but they also send it to the police to do certain kind of prosecution because you have the standing. Thank you.
So I'll just raise one more question, and then give you a chance. We can always come back. The other issue is the reason why people are so adamant, they are so having this lack of confidence in the police, is because anytime they arrest a culprit, they will ask the villagers or the community to go and do the investigation. That the evidence that you brought is not sufficient. It is you who should actually go and bring evidence. Instead of they working with the complainant to go and seek for the evidence. It is always telling the complainant, the evidence you brought is not sufficient for us to prosecute. So go and look for this evidence or that evidence. That's why I'm also still thinking maybe in terms of training, in terms of investigation, there may still be some capacity gaps. Don't you think so?
Of course, yes. The capacity gap, whether in the police or any other institution, are always there. But the fact of the matter, as an investigator, you only need to report your case. Yes. And it's the responsibility of the investigator to look at the lead and follow those leads and then try to investigate. That's why they call them investigators. I'll bring something, I don't have enough, but what do I do to make sure I have the necessary ingredient to make sure I'll be able to charge this person for this particular offense? If that is not there, it's not the complainant or any other person to go and look that for you. It's for the investigator to look for it until such a time he got it. If you don't got it, you don't even need to close the case. You KIV the case. You keep it in view whilst you are working on the investigation. Sometimes cases are ready-made, but sometimes that's why we have the CIDs. That's why we have the investigators. It's just maybe that particular officer is incompetent, I may say, but actually investigators are investigators and they need to look for the facts. They need to look for it, dig for it, wherever it is. It's not the duty of the complainant. He may assist if he so wishes whenever he gets some information and send it. Because leads have to follow, and then you get it there. But as far as I'm concerned, it's the responsibility of the investigators. So definitely.
Thank you very much, Honorable. You may want to.
Thank you very much.
Honorable
Chair, now, according to the same petition, in one of the communities in Wuli, there was a thief who was using a motorbike, transporting elective, yes, using a motorbike, transporting 3 ships. Then the villagers wanted to apprehend him, and then he dumped the bike and ran away. They collected the bike, but unfortunately 2 of the thieves died. So they called the then commissioner of police in URA, that is Famara Jallo. Then they explained the case to him. He told them to consult the Sarengai police. But the community told him that, well, for us, this police in Sarengai, we don't have confidence in them. So then Famara took it upon himself, transferred the case to Basse. Now this motorbike was brought to Basse police, but up to now, this community don't know anything about that case. I don't know what you'll be able to do so that we'll assist this committee so that we'll be able to know something about the case. Because the motorbike is nowhere to be seen, the owner of the ships, no compensation, nothing. Up to now, this case is just pending. So,
okay, thank you very much. For the compensation, the police is not there to compensate people for lost animal or whatsoever. But for the motorbike, if at all the motorbike was taken to the station and it was booked in the station diary, that means because whenever something, a material or an exhibit is taken to the station, it is booked in the station diary. If you are doing handing over, you do handing over every day because you have shift. The shift will go, these are the things, particularly valuable things, like a motorbike. Motorbike is not something you put in the drawer. So motorbike are something everybody will see every day. So the shift will come and say, look at these are the motorbike, these are the exhibit that are here, and hand it over to the next shift, to the next shift, to the next shift. If the SO also is going, who are the custodian of those exhibits, they ought to hand over those exhibits to the officer who is coming. All right. So even it is 10 years, 20 years, those staff must be there. So we can look for it and then try to see where is that motorbike and when the motorbike left that place and who was the last person who took over the motorbike. I think that should not be an issue that will be difficult. The fact that we need to establish, yes, the motorbike was there. If the motorbike was there and it is no more there, somebody must be accountable for it. That I can assure you.
Okay, thank you.
Supplementary, would you like to ask the IGP, following our engagement with Deputy...
You're asking or he's asking?
I'm asking supplementary. I think we'll have love him to ask a supplementary.
Okay, all right, okay.
But hence he didn't ask, I will ask.
Yes.
We were in Basse, and that issue of the motorbike was raised. But would you be surprised to know that the officers there are either unwilling or could not tell us anything about or could not show any records of such motorbike?
Then something must have gone wrong. So that's why we need to investigate where is the motorbike and then try to find out the fact and then come up with the fact. That's for certain.
As the head of the police, on behalf of our poor farmers, would you like to take up that issue and give us a response at a time convenient to you? Would you like to do that for us?
Yes, I promise that I will look for that motorbike. I will put a team to investigate the issue of that particular motorbike and the case he mentioned. Yes.
Honorable Jawa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Thank you very much, IG, for honoring our invitation.
Okay.
IG, I want to know, when did you serve as a commissioner in Woolly East? Which? You are as well.
Me?
Yes.
Me, I have never served in any region.
As a commissioner?
No.
Oh, that's fine. I thought during your answer you said you were a commissioner.
No, I was a commissioner admin. I served all my service at the police headquarters. I have been there for almost 27 years. Huh? Yes.
You have never served as a commissioner?
Outside, no.
Okay.
I rose to the rank from scratch to all at the police headquarters.
He's not a solo commissioner. His wife is there.
Okay. IGP, have you ever had any opportunity to visit Woolly East during your tenure as Deputy IGP or before that?
Yes, maybe during the former IGPs, because I serve as a personal assistant to some of them, and I serve also chief of admin to some of them, most of them in fact. And on tour I'll move with them. And also when I was the Deputy Inspector of Police during the Meet the Farmers tour, I am always in with the President, so I go to all these regions. Yes.
Yes. members any supplement? You have a
It's
supplement?
very difficult for me to ask. So I thought he was one time a commissioner at Bully.
No, I wasn't.
So when he is not
No,
there,
okay.
I'm more of an administrator than an operation
In absence
officer.
of, do you have any supplement? But in the meantime,
yeah. Did you hold any other position? You have never served within those areas? Thank you.
thank you, sir. Yes, honorable too.
I just want to ask IGP. Mr. Sani, the adversely mentioned person in the region has this serious problem with the community of Wuli East is one Ahmad Gaji. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes. What I'm telling you, when Gilma or the Cattle Association, I don't know whether it's Gilma or Cattle, they once came to the former IGP, they had discussions, and then cases were referred to the operation to talk to the commissioners on the ground to resolve those issues. But it's only when I was coming, and then I asked the Woolly issue and all those things, they gave me a report, and I saw his name. But actually, I can't even remember his name. I only get it to this morning, but I know they said somebody's there who is a known cattle hustler, theft or so, but it's like the police can't do anything about it. But all I can assure you, as far as I'm now the chief of the police, and this is a concern which I know some people at Woolly, the association, and farmers are talking about it, that I'm ready to take it up seriously, even though we have a logistic problem, vast area to cover, but we have the PIU there. I think we can kind of come up with a kind of an operation, particularly to see how best we can tackle this cattle rustling issue.
We met the PIU at Makamasri, and we had a long discussion with them, longer than this. And they also confirmed that when they apprehend these suspects and hand them over to Sarangai, they just see people come back to them and say, those people you have taken there, they are free, they are on their way, they are roaming about, they are doing their business. Nothing has come out of it. And they, after a while, they also became relaxed. Because if you keep on apprehending people and then transferring them and then nothing comes out of it, it's like, and for them, they said the only role they have is to apprehend and then hand over. They don't do investigation, they don't do prosecution, they don't do any of that. So linking with them, I think in the area, will help a great deal.
I know what to do.
Yeah.
I will try to do my best to make sure we try to see how best we can resolve or cope these menace in the area. I know the only thing I'll have logistics. But I can remember sometimes in about 6 years ago, when Jidong was the PIU commander there, he was doing great. It's an issue, we'll take it up.
The other issue is that an officer in posting for a period. What is the period that an officer can be posted in one posting place, in one station?
Honorable member, if I say there is a policy to say this is the number of years you can serve in a period, it does not exist. Yeah, and then that's the reason why. In fact, when I came as the Inspector of Police, my first 100 days, all I do to put up policies in terms of postings, transfers, promotion, all those things, because we cannot lead or manage an institution without policies, set standards. So that's what we are currently doing. I think, inshallah, in the next few weeks, we'll be able to finish all those policies in terms of postings, which is very key, how long you can stay. Sometimes you may stay beyond the stated time as per the policy if the need arises. But actually there should be a policy, standard policy to say you can do X, Y, Z for a period and then you have to move. That's not there, but we are working on those things.
IGP, would you like to, if you like to tell us why that Ahmad Gojiko was said to be untouchable in the area as far as police officers are concerned? Would like to tell us if you have any clue why that man is so outstanding and he's untouchable?
Honorable member, I can say for certain. I don't know why he is untouchable. I think nobody is untouchable, and there should be no sacred cows. and then nobody's above the law. As far as I'm concerned, the law is the law. You break the law, you face the penalty.
Would you be surprised, IGP, to hear this staggering revelation? That the said Ahmad Gajigo, say that he's a friend to all the police in that area, almost all the police in that area, and that he confirmed that he gives them meat, although the police do not request, but he gives them meat from time to time.
He said so?
Yes.
Okay, all right. You want me to
If that is correct, is that in or against police ethics?
That's against the ethics. For example, you should not be receiving gift. You should not, as a professional, you shouldn't be receiving gift, because if you receive gift from somebody, if you do something, you are owing him something. So actually, that's not part of our ethics. In fact, it is in the law. You don't have to receive gift. So gift, it can be in a form of a gift, but maybe there might be bribe. So that's the issue. So if that is done, it's unfortunate, and then we will try to rectify it. But Amadou Gajigo, as far as I'm concerned, is not a sacred cow, and he's not above the law. So if they attach the evidence that are prima facie, and we can open the case and prosecute, he should be. And as far as I'm concerned, please, if you have cases, list of cases that you have, you can give it to me. I'll reopen those cases and check. If there are evidence, we will prosecute. If there is no evidence, I'm sorry. We have to look for the evidence, and then most of the time this cattle rustling thing is difficult, because some of these things are not even killed in the region, maybe in Senegal. People will collect it from Senegal, bring it to Gambia, slaughter. From the Gambia to Senegal, slaughter. That is kind of an organized crime. So we'll cooperate with our counterpart at the other side of the border to see how better we can resolve the problem.
But it's simple. If, for example, Mr. Gajigo, his license is revoked by the Jelma, and then it is the police now who should inform him that his license is revoked, and he should not engage in animal dealing, nor should he be engaged in slaughtering and selling meat. But because the police are not ready to tell Gajigo that, and they are not ready to arrest him for doing that, Gajigo feels that he is not
he's a Superman.
Violating any law.
No.
And even when we saw him, he told us that a chairman will not come to me and tell me to stop dealing in cattle or slaughtering animals.
A what man?
It is a chairperson. That means an ordinary person. So he's saying the police must tell me to stop. But since they did not stop me, I will continue to do what I want.
He said so.
And up to now, let me inform you, just this week, they arrest one of his young people with a horse. And they took the horse. The police asked them to take it to Sarangai. They took the horse to Sarangai. I think the horse is still in Sarangai. But the police told them, we cannot handle this horse here. We will not give it to Amadou, but we will also not handle it here. So it is you people, if you want to handle it, but we will not be able to take responsibility of this. I was thinking that maybe they will be linking to the chief to see how they'll be able to have the horse.
Did they say why they can't handle the horse?
Not aware.
Maybe taking care of the feeding of the horse, that's one of the problems. In most cases, what you do, you can give it to the owner as for safekeeping, to keep it, and then because taking care of horses and then these cows are very, very expensive, and then they don't have any money to do that. That's one of the cases. But for the Gilmer issue, they don't need to inform Amadou to stop, because Amadou must operate with a license. Once you don't have a license, you are operating illegally. Is seeing Amadou operating and without a license, he could be arrested and charged and taken to court. As simple as that. There is no way, two ways.
Yes.
You are SMS, so you don't have to ask questions. You sit.
Yes. Okay. It's just a supplementary to this question. The most interesting part
I want to raise a supplementary question.
Yes, please.
I said the most interesting part in Amadou is Amadou's license is revoked, and he's still slaughtering. He's not going to the abattoir, but he will do it in his home, in his house.
There is no veterinarian there?
But he's not going there. But
Okay.
he's doing it in his compound and then selling it. And people are reporting that. Yes. And nothing is done about it still now.
Now that I know that will not happen, because Ahmadu, without a license, he cannot do it. And then he cannot slaughter from his compound. Because, you know, they are veterinarians, and then this issue, you have to sell it to the public. And it must be inspected. There are laws guiding those things. There are abattoirs everywhere. If you want to slaughter, the veterinarian has to come, do the inspection. After the killing, also do the inspection. That what kind of a meat are we eating? It's even public danger. So if that is happening, it will stop.
It is happening.
It will stop.
I'm very sorry.
Going by the answer you provided to this purpose, you said that cattle wrestling is a long-standing issue, which means you have a vast knowledge of it well before coming as the IGP. As the current IGP, and all operations are done under your command, will you be in a position now to totally eradicate this cattle wrestling? Because you mentioned that your men have the capacity.
Honorable, I can say that for certain, because we live with crime and we continue to live with crime. We'll try to mitigate and then try to see how best we can minimize it at a level that is understandable. Because this cattle wrestling is very, very tricky. And then because even the safe are part of it. It's kind of a clique. You know, these things are in the bush. Sometimes, you know, even me, in our village we have. When my father died, we have about 7 or 8. We will come 2 weeks, they will tell me one died or one escaped and all those things. It's not only the thieves, even the safe are part of it. So we'll do our utmost best to make sure we fight against it. And then because sometimes you may know some people who are involved in these things. So from here, we have to profile the individual, not only in the Woolly, but everywhere in the country to see how best we can fight it. But I can promise you, we'll do our level best to make sure we fight the menace.
Additional supplementary?
Yes. IGP, will you be ready to overhaul that police station, Sarakai police station? Hence, the victim are saying that the perpetrators were enjoying endless favors of authorities in that station, and they were crying. And I said, IGP, will you be ready to totally overhaul that police station and represent them with people, men that people have trust?
You know, as a leader, you just don't jump and do things because of what the people want. But I know I'm going to address the problem to the best of my ability.
Sorry, thank you very much, IGP. During our visit, we've been informed that throughout the URL South, there is no operational vehicles. And as a head of the police command, are you aware of this? And if so, what are your immediate plans to remedy this situation?
I know there are problems of vehicles everywhere, and then I'm not getting the vehicles from my pocket. Could you be surprised to know that in our yearly budget, there is no budget for any single vehicle. People will talk to the police and have a vehicle. The police cannot buy a vehicle on their own. The vehicle must be provided by the state. And then those budgets are brought to the National Assembly. Because some of our budget, in fact, last year was reduced. We don't have enough, and then the National Assembly is using our budget. So those are issues. So budget, how can you operate a station with vast area and you don't have even a single vehicle? So that's the problem. So I cannot sit here and promise you that there will be vehicle around that area. So I want you to understand, vehicles are prerequisite for us to operate effectively and efficiently. Without them, we can't, because the area is vast, the personnel are minimal. Even the PI who will do the patrol, they only have one vehicle. And you cannot have one vehicle patrolling both sides, the east and the west. So we just on our own way to see if we have vehicles, we send them there. But we are trying to see how best we can get vehicle and then resolve the problem. Because it's an issue at Woolly. I can say and look and say, look, there's an issue in Woolly. Where can I tap a vehicle and send it there so that they can try to resolve this problem we have currently? That's the way we operate.
That's what we are saying. Anyway, not the civilians, it's the police who said so, that they have problem of vehicle.
They will always say
At
so.
this point in time, they cannot do their operation without vehicle. As a head of the police institution, that's what I'm trying to find out.
I will try my best.
Now, what can you do in order to remedy the situation, either a short term or a long term?
I will try to do my best. I will try to see where I can get one and then send it there. For
And
sure,
I-
inshallah.
In addition, I wouldn't be surprised to know that in Makama, the PIU shows a dilapidated motorbike that they have to push before it kicks in. That's so how serious they are incapacitated. But would you like to use the influence of your office at least to get them, at least not a vehicle, but at least a reasonable motorbike? Even the officer told me that, honorable members, this is mine. My private one is what I use now, and we sympathize. How do you sustain that?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Honorable member, you said I use the influence of my office. To who? Where?
The president, cabinet, national assembly.
Now, can I plead? This National Assembly, can you look at the logistics needs of the police, of the security? Because there is a need, serious need, for the National Assembly to look at the logistic need of the police. You go to police station, you only have one vehicle. In normal circumstances, in police station, standard police station, even our neighbors here, they have one or more two vehicles. Because if you cannot have one vehicle, you want that vehicle to stay there for almost 2-3 years without breakdown, because the vehicle is doing the service of everybody. So there is a need for the National Assembly to look, without security there is no meaningful development. What are we doing to make sure we give them what they needed to operate effectively? But people demand a lot from us, but little is given to us. Even in terms of fuel, you can't have an operational vehicle with 20 liters. Even the vehicle is not there, they will not go far per day. So all those things are issues. But that doesn't mean that we will not do our work. We will try our best. But as far as I'm concerned, I will look at the vehicle issue and see how best I can tap one, like he said, temporary or permanently, to see what we can do with the Cattle Farmers Association in Woolly West, and try to see we made an impact at least.
We need that this consent to the Defense and Security Committee and together.
I spoke to them.
I know the defense and security.
Yeah.
They are working.
They are working on
It's a
it.
cause for concern. Thank you very much. We have a supplementary question so that we can wrap it up. From here, I'll go from there, Yasin.
Not from the, I don't know, SMS or so.
He has not overruled us.
No, I'm the big chair. You see, my chair is bigger than everyone.
I'm saying you can give chance to Anthony.
Okay, honorable there.
can come there.
She just arrived.
Okay, he's a member.
He's a nominated member.
Okay, ma'am.
They asked
Yeah,
you
thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
IG,
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
the traffic is always our problem. And I just don't know what could be done about it.
The traffic?
So, on a more serious note,
Yes.
the traffic is always a problem. But on a more serious note,
Yes.
in your answer, you're saying that there is nothing like policy where you know that there is a time limit for your staff to be posting some. But do you think, does the need arise when it is necessary for them to be posted? Does that happen? And if that happens, what do you normally do? Because when we went to visit Saringai, when we went to Woolly, the information we got from Amadou Gadigo, we asked him to stop, and he told us categorically clear that he will never stop and he will not stop, because we are not the one who can tell him to stop what he is doing. So to me, I think maybe your man should do something to make him to stop, because he should stop.
Inshallah.
He has to stop. So that being the case, the community there, they don't have the trust, and anything can happen. In case to avoid this, what do you think your office can do with immediate effect to make sure that these things will not happen? Because in the Gambia, what we normally do is that we wait until it happens, then we start coming up with what to do. And Amadou told us categorically that he will not stop. And these people are saying that they are not ready to leave Amadou, and they say they will take the law into their own hand, which is not which is not what we want. So I really want you to elaborate more on this. and see how best. Maybe you can transfer some of them who are there. Maybe I was late before I entered. Maybe you had the word Mandifa, who everybody talked about. Is it Mandifa? Mandifa, yes. Most of them talk about. Everybody talked about that he is colliding with the police officers, with Amadou Gajigo. And that is maybe why Amadou is so strong. He is more strong than the police officers there. So I think this is the information, and then you tell me what you intend to do.
Honorable, thank you so much. If he's operating outside the law, he will definitely stop. We will give instructions to the regional commission to make sure he does not operate. If he's operating outside the law, this Mandafa you are talking about, Mandafa is already transferred to the CRR, yes, last week, because we had the information. And then we'll try to see whether we can get these people a vehicle to make sure we kind of have an operation in the Woolly and is it Woolly East and West?
East and West.
We'll try to do a temporal operations. I will not do an how do you call it, a permanent one for the meantime, because I don't have the resources and the logistics. But I will try to see what I can do as of now to try to build the confidence with all of the Woolly people. What I will request from the honorable members here is if you can ask the Gilmer or the Woolly Farmers Association to see me ASAP, and then so that we can discuss, and then I will try to see what I can do immediately. And then, you know, now that in fact, because of those investigation gaps, in fact now we have created a unit, the special investigation unit, that will be handling all important cases that we think the other unit don't have the capacity, or cases of serious nature. In fact, we may even send that unit when they are presently we are trying to put them together. We can also even send them to see how best we can handle the Woolly East and West cases. But what I can assure you for now, as the Inspector General of Police, I will do my very best and then work hand in glove with these very people. But I want to quick to say, evidence must be there for us to prosecute. Reporting a case is not enough. So people need to understand. When I look at one of the reports just this morning, it's from the statement of the complainant themselves. Some of them never reported these cases. Those are there. Whether you have the evidence or not, just report the case.
Yeah.
Once a theft is committed, or you have realized that you missed one of your small remnant or whatsoever, please go and report the case. The case of Sarangai, we try to see how best we can add some more personnel at the Sarangai, and also try to do some kind of meaningful change that will have an impact. I think I have answered your question. Yes.
You know, IGP,
yes.
The community, we went to Makamas. I think if you know where the PIU was living, they were accommodated in another compound. And that place was very tight. But because of the importance of their stay in that place, the community recognized and made a contribution and in fact built a residence for them. You've seen the residence. You see that residence? The community built them for them. The Woolly people put their money together and built them for them. And even transferred water to that place. Now they are working on some form of electricity, solar system or so. So if the police, I believe if the police are working hand in glove, you know, community policing policy, I believe the community itself can be of immense help to the police or to the security in the region. So, how you are going to activate the community policing policy in that region will be very crucial in tackling this particular petty crime.
I agree.
I think that you should be thinking in that direction.
I agree.
And the community, if they can build a residence for the police, they can also equally even initiate to come on by purchasing a vehicle. I'm sure they'll be too enthusiastic when they see that the security is here to defend our interests, to defend our property, they'll be more interested in coming together to help the police in terms of mobility as well. Which they are being all over the place. You know that if you go to health, communities are building health centers. You know, they are providing ambulances and so on. So with the police also, if the people see that the police are really serving them and they have confidence in them, they will do everything to ensure that they have the mobility that is required to do their job better. And I believe that is an area that you need to actually study.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Member. You know, Honorable Member, most of the people don't know the importance of the security, not only the police. Yeah. Security is key. Yeah. Before going to the hospital, there must be security. Before going to the farm, there must be security. Before doing anything, there must be peace and tranquility. And who gave you those things is the security. But if they are under-resourced, what do you expect? Now, that's why I'm saying this August body, through you, I'm requesting for you to look at our logistic need. It's time. It's definitely time. But what I can assure you, for the Woolly and Woolly West and Woolly East, I'm going to look at it very critically. And Sandu.
They are also in there.
Yes, but you cannot just do all these things together without the logistics. Yeah. And then you know we are in election period, we are engaged in training, we are engaged in a lot of things. The logistics are not there. So I will see what can be done ASAP, and we will start doing that. And one other thing is, if you have a list of cases that you are interested and they are not taken care of, let me have it. And we'll review it. If there are evidence, we'll proceed. If there are not, we'll try to see whether we can get those evidence, which I think are going to be very difficult, but we're going to reassure them that we are there for them. And we will do work hand in glove with them.
Probably this will bring us almost to the end of our engagement, unless our subject matter specialist would like to ask one or two questions. Yes,
Mr. Chair, I'm not actually asking him a question.
All right.
But I just want to inform him that I serve in Basse as officer commanding. And Sarangai is a kind of a commercial hub in the area. There is this famous rumor in Sarangai that everybody talks about. People of Senegal, Oriental, and Casamance, they all convert there on a weekly basis. But we also the police station. I'm not sure whether the IG had seen the police station. There's a need to relocate that police station because it is a rented property. I know about it. And accommodation has also been a problem, a serious concern for the police officers in Sarangai. Because we are told that the officers attached in Sarangai, even rented in shops, as their accommodation, and which I really believe need to be looked into by the police management and of course with government, because you cannot allow the police to sleep in or live in such horrible, conditions and then, effectively discharge their duties. And furthermore, that particular station in Sarangai serves both the Sandu, Woolly East and Woolly West. So I know, of course, there are constraints like we always say, but there is also a need to have at least a police station and residence maybe around Banyakunda, because that would also serve and complement the PIU in Makamasire. Because if you look at Makamasire to Sarangai, Sarangai is the only police station, for the whole of that area. Woolly East and Woolly West and Sandu area.
Sandu has Diago.
And Diago, exactly. But then if you have this police station in Sarangai, probably a modern police station would definitely serve the purpose. And some people also inform us that the residents in Woolly and some part of Woolly do not allow police officers to stay in their houses. I think we've got some information about that. So I would rather suggest to the IGP, next time when they're building police stations, at least there should be enough accommodation for police officers. I don't want to take more time, especially on logistics. I know the problems. But the most pressing situation is we are told in Makamasire that by the PI officers that when they apprehend suspects, they carry them on motorbikes from Makamasire to Sarangai, which is roughly more than 20 kilometers away. So I think this should be a real concern, because definitely I wouldn't risk that, to have a suspect behind my motorbike. In the station, I think it needs to be considered highly, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
IGP, would you like to react to that? What do you want to add? One or two things that you add to that? It's been a long day.
Just a short one.
After his reaction, or
Maybe I can add it.
add it, he will react to that.
Yes, I was thinking a witness, I think Jallo, Farmer Jallo, mentioned to us that he went up to Tambakunda to negotiate on behalf of the victims, and they brought back over 40 ruminants, and that is his personal rapport and and knowledge of the area. So I was thinking, if your office could initiate something like that, some kind of link with the sister Republic of Senegal, Tambacounda area, because when they take animals from this end, that's where they take them. And when they take it from that area, that's where they bring it to us. So if there is this understanding and collaboration, maybe it will also ease, because the community has a very strong link now with their neighbors. They are always going in and coming out, so they are working together. So if the security units also have that rapport, because at McMaster they say they have difficulty to establish such a thing, but if can be sort of initiated from your office, I think it will go a long way in helping us in that area.
Yes, thank you very much. With regard to past question, I think that question is better directed to the National Assembly, the logistic need. Wherever it's time for logistic, please direct it to the National Assembly. But they are the only people who can save us, salvage us from these things. With seriousness, we can get it. And then for the accommodation, look at my development vote, just to renovate all these stations, or even to build, is $1 million. $1 million can't even build a good house. So that's what is there. So all those things come to the National Assembly. If you gave the police the development bill to build station $1 million, the National Assembly should not even at the vote go say, look, this is not possible. So give them what they need, at least. So the issue of this logistics still boils down to the National Assembly, for them to look at the needs of the security, not only the police, to make sure we know you cannot have enough, but at least something reasonable that you can operate with. That I'm still pleading with the honorable members to do that.
Chair, sorry for interrupting, but when you defend your budget?
Of course, yes.
You come to the National Assembly and defend it?
It's not for us, it's the Minister of Defense to do, because we defend it with him, it's not us.
No, but they should make sure that the National Assembly, they defend their budget through the Ministry of...
Then what do you do?
You do it?
Yes. They will give you a ceiling, said don't pass through this thing. And then you don't pass through that thing. And even with those ceiling, it comes to the National Assembly, they will reduce some. Yes, please.
This last budget,
Yes.
the Human Rights Committee, we went to the headquarters, we went all over the place, and we forcefully injected in at least 2 vehicles in the budget. And in the defense, also injected some vehicles in the district. You have to deal with the I'm not sure whether you still get those.
We don't have any vehicles
there.
We don't.
But our also concern is that if anytime you put in a new vehicle, then the ministry senior officers will take the new vehicle and give them the stations, the old vehicle. And it will require a lot of repairs.
No, that's not.
So in the end, they get tired, they just park it.
No,
that's what they told us.
No, that's not happening. So, I have been there for almost ages.
Okay.
You can't have a commissioner who is the chief of admin don't have a vehicle. It has a pickup. You don't have it. You have most of the senior officers don't have a vehicle. They use their own vehicle.
Yeah.
For vehicle issues, that's not a fact.
Yeah.
But the other one, our relationship with Senegal is very cordial, because from the level of, at my level, with the level of the Director General of Police in Senegal, almost we speak every day.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, if you remember the case, the murder case around that end in Basse,
Yeah.
the culprit was arrested in Senegal.
Yeah.
They called us, we went and picked the culprit. If such thing also happen and is a Senegalese, we will give it to them. If it's a Gambian, they will give it to us.
Yeah.
But if the culprit is a Senegalese,
Yes.
you cannot get it from the Senegalese.
Yeah.
So those things, but the rapport at all level and at all the border is cordial. So what we need to do, we know these are the problems. Now there are issues. It has reached to the National Assembly. There is a need for us to do something ASAP, and we'll try to do something ASAP, something that will have an impact, and then build that confidence, and then so that we can work hand in glove with the community, because we need them, because policing is all about information, and without information, you can't do policing. But these things are not things that you can hide and do. People, one or two people must see, and we follow those leads.
All right, thank you very much. I did not see a hand up, so I'll assume that brings us to the end of the announcement. Thank you very much, honorable colleagues, our able witness, the IGP, our colleagues from the media fraternity. In the absence of further questions, this brings us to the end of this very important public hearing. And before I conclude, let me seize this opportunity to thank the IGP for honoring our invitation. This is geared towards making a Gambia a better place to live. And as citizens of this country, it is our responsibility to ensure that we carry out our responsibilities to the fullest, to the best of our abilities. IGP, this could not be end as a matter of a procedure. If there's need be, we would like to call you back, where we find that you're just picking a telephone call to get one or two information. If it's more feasible, we would like to do that. But we thank you very much for your cooperation. As a citizen, we are very, very pleased. This as a result of the problems being encountered and still encountered by the people of Woodley East. Imagine these poor farmers. You wake up one day, you find out all your cattle are gone. This is very disheartening. And we, the people of Woodley, has high expectation on this committee. And we equally we have high expectation and regards for your office. And I think together we can lift up the expectation to wipe the tears of these poor farmers. So thank you very much. As to remind you finally, it's not a witch hunting exercise. We did not bring you here to find out your fault, but we have a responsibility. And our responsibility is to gather the facts, write a report that will be presented to the plenary, that's the whole International Assembly. Well, thank you very much. So that's what we intend to do to the best of our ability, without fear or favor, and that's what we've done. So we thank you very much, honorable colleagues. Thank you, our media. Thank you so much for coming, and we do appreciate it. On that note, I have the singular honor and pleasure to officially close the meeting. May we pray. Thank you so much. The meeting is officially closed.
Thank you so much.
Members, 1 minute.
Okay. Have a copy of the petition?
Oh, yes. Yes. He will provide. Members, just 2 minutes.
Yeah, bye.